One of the strengths of Facebook is that it allows you to customize your pages by adding new tabs at the top of the page. Customizing your page makes it more engaging and also shows customers that you are making a real investment in your Facebook presence. If you know someone who can write code in FBML, the Facebook programming language that shares many similarities with HTML, the possibilities are almost endless. For instance, you can design a Facebook page with a great welcome tab that people are taken to as soon as they arrive on the page. My favorite example of this is Steve Spangler, a TV personality with his own science show. When you come to Steve's Facebook page, and note that he does appropriately have a page and not an individual profile, when you come to his page, you see this welcome tab that asks the question, why should I like this page? The introductory video tells you exactly why you should like this page and makes it as compelling as possible. In the interest of time, I'm going to skip over the video, but it does things like show things blowing up and saying, look, if you're excited about science, this is a page that you need to know about. Obviously, this video sends the message that liking Steve's Facebook page is going to be a non-stop scientific adventure, so why wouldn't you click the like button? This is exactly the kind of customization you should try to develop on your Facebook page. You don't necessarily have to know someone who can do the coding for you either. Several Facebook applications are available for free that allow you to customize your Facebook presence. My favorites are these three. There's the Twitter tab, which adds the Twitter tab to your profile that shows your Twitter feed on the tab. The Welcome tab application allows you to add a welcome tab like Steve Spangler's and put in your own code on it. And the RSS blog tab application lets you add your blog to a tab on your Facebook page and lets people subscribe to it there. These are all free applications that allow you to customize your Facebook page and make it more interesting. But speaking of tabs, don't let your tabs go stale. On a Facebook page, the only tabs that can't be removed are the wall and info tabs. Everything else can be added or removed as you see fit. So if you aren't using a particular tab, don't leave it on your Facebook page. Delete the tab so it doesn't look like your page is full of useless junk. When you expect company at home, you do some cleaning and sweeping. That's what keeping your tabs fresh is all about. Don't let your tabs go stale. Moving over to Twitter, do follow your followers. This advice applies especially to smaller companies. If someone expresses an interest in your company by following you on Twitter, do them the favor of following them back. Everybody likes a follower on Twitter, and it doesn't hurt you or cost you a thing to follow your followers. Obviously, if one of your followers is spamming or using profanity or whatever, you can stop following them or even block them if necessary. But in general, following your followers is a way of promoting relationships in Twitter, which is one way we put the social in social media. Think of following your followers on Twitter like someone handing their business card to you. You wouldn't not hand one back. Follow your followers. The don't of Twitter is not to underuse it or misuse it. A few minutes ago, I said that you should post to Facebook once a day ideally, or once a week at a minimum. Because of Twitter's format, intended for short statements of 140 characters or fewer, the platform is much more conversational, and the expectation for people who are really using Twitter well is that you're tweeting at least daily, if not multiple times a day. The most popular tweeters post dozens of new tweets each day. You don't have to go that far, and people don't need to know every last thing about your company's workday. But if you're going to have a Twitter presence, you should make sure you are actually posting at least daily. That means you should have made a commitment as a company to stick to this if you're going to join Twitter. This goes right back to what I said about your overall social media strategy. If you know you'll have a regular, at least daily thing that you can say that's interesting or helpful, and you have someone who will post those things, then go ahead and take the leap with Twitter. If you don't, you might be better off not being on Twitter at all. Underuse of Twitter is worse than not being on Twitter, which is a statement that isn't necessarily true for Facebook. So let me say that again. Underuse of Twitter is worse than not being on Twitter. And misuse of Twitter is dangerous also. By misuse, I mean overselling, overpromoting yourself, doing nothing but pointing people back to your Facebook or your website, retweeting things without any commentary of your own, and so on. Basically, misuse of Twitter for companies most often means making noise without actually saying anything. There's a lot of noise on Twitter, and people are happy to cut your voice out of the noise, to stop following you if you're misusing the system in some way. This button here says it all. When it comes to Twitter, what goes around comes around. Don't underuse or misuse Twitter. One more do that I mentioned last week but bears repeating. Remember YouTube. We don't generally think of YouTube as a social media site, but it is one of your most powerful tools for expressing yourself online, which is very much a social media concept. YouTube is also the second most used search tool on the internet right after Google. In other words, when people are looking for something, they go to YouTube to find it. So go ahead and give video a try. Make something compelling or interesting. It doesn't have to be professional or expensively produced. It just has to be interesting and on YouTube. And then make sure your social media sites like Facebook and Twitter highlight and incorporate your YouTube videos so you can get the most mileage out of them and ensure they are found. So do remember YouTube. And the final don't is don't ignore the latest technology. Take everything I said about not spreading yourself too thin to heart, but don't neglect the things that are constantly coming out. 10 years ago, when I first started working in online marketing, the hottest site around was CitySearch. You can imagine how much the landscape has changed since then, and you can be sure that new technologies will come around that will affect how you do business online. Keep apprised of these technologies as much as possible and explore them and try to find out if they look compelling enough. Not every new technology is worth your time and attention, but don't ever stop taking notice of what's out there. These Straight Talk webinars are a good way for you to stay connected to what's coming around the bend. So there they are, the do's and don'ts of social media. Do have a strategy, keep your content engaging and current, respond promptly to your customers, keep your posts simple, try out Facebook ads, customize your Facebook page, follow your Twitter followers, and remember YouTube. And the don'ts. Don't spread yourself too thin, don't try to control the conversation, don't oversell, don't use technical language, don't restrict your Facebook page or let your tabs go stale, don't underuse or misuse Twitter, and don't ignore the latest technology. So those are the do's and don'ts, and now I think we have maybe just 1 minute for a quick question.
We have a question here and then a question about the availability of the content after the presentation's over. But Ian, there's a question of running a Facebook ad. Should it be for the company in general, a branding type ad perhaps, or should it be very specific to a promotion?
I think the best thing to do when you're running a Facebook ad is to run it for a specific promotion. The reason for that being, one thing is that it's much easier to measure the return on investment for that type of an ad where you can actually take people to a splash page where they are able to sign up for the promotion, and then you know that they've come straight from your Facebook ad. If you are just, I mean, the only reason I would say to promote yourself as a company is maybe if you are seriously concerned about people in your area not knowing about your existence at all, in which case you would want to do a very targeted ad to people in your location, or if you're a new company and you are sort of announcing yourself to the world. Again, if you are announcing a particular new feature or new product or even just a news announcement about something you're doing in the community, that is something that could be used for Facebook ads if you want to draw people's attention to it. I think in general, though, it's better to do it for a specific promotion than just for the company overall. Also, in terms of the question about copies of the presentation, what will happen is once we are done here today, I will be getting this presentation on our Facebook page. It'll be there in JPEG format and also as a PDF. And also, hopefully by later on this afternoon, we'll have it there as a video also. So there will be 3 different ways you can find it, and it will all be on our Facebook page. Let me go ahead and move now to the slide that has that Facebook page listed on it. It's facebook.com/pivotgroup.
Thank you, Ian. And we did want to remind you of a couple of things that are coming that I think you're going to be interested in. Again, this Straight Talk on Social Media webinar will continue, and Ian will talk a little bit about future content. Next week, Wednesday at 11 o'clock, there's a 1-hour session. It's our first called Straight Talk on Telco Marketing. This is Dave Neustraut, and I'll be the primary speaker with content come from Ian Desher as well as others on the Pivot team. What we want to do there, and there's no cost for that session, is we want to talk about the news of the month that's really relevant to marketers and leaders of our clients that are telco in the telecom industry. So we're going to talk about marketing and industry-related news. We're going to talk about pricing because we can, as a consulting firm, talk about pricing. We're going to talk about moves made by competitors, broadband, cellular, satellite, IP providers. We're going to talk about new product offerings that you could potentially offer and be successful with, and then also share some highlights of some of our research and marketing projects. So we think you're going to get a lot out of that. It's meant to be very practical. So we hope you can join us next week for our first Straight Talk on Telco Marketing.
And just closing word, thanks again for joining us today. As Dave said, we have more Straight Talk on Social Media is coming up every 2 weeks. In 2 weeks from today, on September 3rd, we'll have the focus being the magic of Papa John's recent social media campaign. In 2 weeks from that, the focus will be how to increase your followers, your likers, your followers, your connections on social media. So those are the next 2 topics that we'll be looking at. Thank you very much for joining us today, everybody, and remember to keep your media social and your talk straight. Have a great day.